Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about silver companies that are among my favorites. And then before we talk about the equities I like, we are going to talk about some news. This is from mining.com, where they are stating that Peru silver output fell 9%. Why is that interesting to you though? Peru is the second largest silver producer on the planet. This is a chart from visualcapitalist.com, so please go check them out. Main silver producers on the planet, and as you can see that down below there, Peru at second place, and the first place is Mexico. Obviously, silver still being in a deficit, and the fact that even with copper or silver, there's like problems with mines and like production, and there's still deficits. So that it's going to be very interesting, both with copper and silver in the coming years. So that's why I'm making this video, because these are among my favorite silver companies, other than Pan American Silver, which we mentioned last video. So I just thought I would spice it up a little bit. And the first one is Cerro de Pasco Resources, which is a company we have mentioned before, but it's been a while. I don't think we mentioned them this year. It's one of the largest above ground mining assets. Why is that interesting though? They wouldn't have to mine it because it's already there. What is also interesting though is that it's in Peru, and they are friendly to the United States, which is also very important in the coming years, because I believe that we are entering a deglobalization, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Americans go back to how it used to be, where they are focusing on the Americas. So then it's nice that this project is in Peru, which is friendly to the United States. It has very high grade gallium, as you can see there, at 53 grams per ton. They have silver at about 1.6 ounces per ton, which is very nice. Zinc is 1.47%, and lead is like 0.89%. The drill sampling provided how likely it is to recover, like you can see that recovery potential, like how much of this resource they could potentially recover. But also, what is interesting though is that Eric Sprott owns 18.3% of the entire company, one of the mining legends. Management and directors own almost 11%, as you can see there. They are in talks with the government of the United States regarding gallium, because that's essential in semiconductors and high tech and so forth, as you can see here. And China controls 98%, and the United States is 100% dependent. So it's very interesting with this project, as you can see here earlier, where the drill samples of this project, this resource, has 53 grams per ton of gallium. That's very interesting. And as you can see there, 2nd of March, the United States, like a $5 million milestone project development fund to support project development of this project, which is called Chuca. I guess that's somewhat accurate how you pronounce it. This is the main reason why this is among my favorites. On the right, underground mining per ton between $30 and $200. In the middle, open pit between $2 and $15. And as you can see on the left, tailings extraction, which is Cerro de Pasco Resources is going to do between $1 and $2 per ton. That's a huge cost difference, and they wouldn't have to use as much fuel. The infrastructure cost is very little compared to the other ones, and they wouldn't have to be blasting and using explosives and so forth. So they would potentially, if everything goes according to plan, have huge cost savings compared to other or like traditional mining companies. So this is among why I like this. And this is what you can see. This is from like an older presentation where they have 423 million silver equivalent ounces. So as you can see there, they have huge silver, zinc, lead, some gold, and copper, and gallium. But like when you combine it, basically based upon like older presentations, it's stated that was equal to like 423 million ounces of silver equivalent. So this company seems to have a tremendous future. It's owned by one of the mining legends. And the next company on the list is a company we have mentioned quite a lot, but I still like it, and I still believe that since it has had a correction though not too long ago, it still seems attractive in my opinion though, which is why I've been adding a little bit. Why on earth is this company interesting to you? This is a solar panel recycling company where per ton they would basically receive $500 in tipping fee. After like costs, that would be like $150 in cost. The reason why we are interested in this company: minerals and metals recovery. What is in a solar panel? A solar panel, as you can see here, contain a wide range of minerals and metals and so forth. Silver, silicon, copper, gallium, tellurium, indium, antimony, aluminium. So obviously it contains tremendous amount of resources in like solar panels. This first plant they have now in Nevada can process 100,000 tons. That's 3.3 million solar panels individual. Why is that interesting? Each panel has between 15 and 20 grams of silver. Like how much silver could they potentially, when they have like refinery and all these things, when in the future they can actually recover 90%, like how much they could potentially get in like a resource. As you can see here, silver, that could be between 1.5 and 2 million ounces of silver if they recover 90% purity. So as you can see, that like 100,000 metric tons, that would be an insane amount of glass. That would be 24 million pounds of aluminium, 8 million pounds of silicone, like 2 million pounds of copper, and between 1.5 and 1.8 million ounces of silver. So imagine if silver is like at $60, as you can see there, that could be between 99 to a little bit over $100 million in revenue just from the silver. Just from the silver, bear in mind. And obviously, as you can see, the aluminium, silicone, copper. So just bear in mind, this is like if everything goes according to plan and everything with the refinery and they have over 90% recovery, then this could potentially be the case. This is basically the automated system that they have started as of a month ago, as you can see there. That's the robot arms placing the solar panels on the plant because it's much more efficient than humans doing it, obviously. It's one of my favorite silver companies, and I'm obviously going to continue talking about them because when or if they actually get the recovery of 90% when they have the refinery and so forth. Imagine, like this company wouldn't need to mine it. They literally receive the solar panels for free and are paid to recycle them. And then they get to keep the resources in the solar panels. And then they could just sell the resources on the market. So and each plant costs between like 13 and like $15 million. And each plant, as you can see here, if they have like 90% recovery, could make an enormous amount. And that's just the minerals. That's without mentioning the fee, which is $500 per ton. And they are gonna each plant process about like 100,000 tons per year when fully operational. So that's very interesting. I still like it, and I'm still gonna talk about it because it's one of my favorite companies. It's Eloro Resources. Now, why on earth is this interesting? This is a company in Bolivia which has 1.25 billion silver equivalent ounces in inferred, which could be 358 million ounces of silver, huge amount of zinc and lead, and it has 1.2 million ounces of silver in inferred. So this has the potential to become an enormous resource. And the catalysts, or the things they are projecting to have done in 2026, if everything goes according to plan, that is to update the mineral resource estimate, but also have a PEA, and then continue drilling to enlarge the resource and have it more defined. What is also interesting though, this is a list of some of the largest silver resources on the planet. The first one is a company we did mention a couple of times in 2035-ish, during spring and summer, which is Chesapeake Gold, which is also invested in by Eric Sprott. It's the first one. It has an enormous resource, by the way. The company we are now mentioning, Eloro Resources, comes at a close third place with its inferred resource. 32% of the shares are owned by institutions and 17% is owned by insiders, which means that the management has an enormous incentive to perform due to the fact that they own 17% of the company. The property is close to power, they're close to a mining community, it's close to paved roads and rail transportation, and close to seaports. And 2026 update resource, PEA, and fully acquire the full property. This has been my list of like smaller silver companies that are of interest. Bear in mind, these are like more on the riskier side. I would say that out of these, probably Cerro de Pasco and COMSTOCK are the least risky. This is the most risky, in my opinion. And again, this is the list of, if you want to go check out Chesapeake Gold Corp, which has an enormous resource. Probably one of the largest resources I've seen, but obviously they are not producing either. But Eric Sprott is invested in it. So if you want to check that out. We did mention it in 2025 a couple of times when it was a little bit cheaper. Provide the list if you want to go check out these other companies, if you want to go research yourself. Anyway, I hope you have thoroughly enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.